Mr. Malbrue here. Can we talk about the fall off of Rick and Morty? I haven't seen the entirety of season 8 yet. I only watched the premiere. And after watching the premiere, I decided I'll just binge all of this once it comes out. But as the season has gone on, it's become painfully obvious to me that this show does not have a grip on its fan base like I thought it has, and it no longer has the cultural relevance that it once had. So my question is, have you ever seen a show fall from grace as fast and as hard as Rick and Morty has fallen? If you have, what was it and why did it happen? Because the why is the most interesting part about Rick and Morty. Personally, I don't have an answer for the why. I really don't get it. At one point, you had to watch Rick and Morty episodes every time that they aired, because if you got online after the episode aired, even minutes after it aired, you would already be seeing jokes and references, if not full videos that were clipped from online and thrown up to illustrate the joke and talk about the funniest moments from that episode. And across all my different social media, I don't see that energy anymore. No one talks about this show outside of its hardcore fan base. And throughout season 8, as it's airing each Sunday, I haven't seen any references to the show on Mondays, except that one time that Zack Snyder and James Gunn made cameos to kind of promote Superman. I know that time passes and people grow up, but at one point, the hardcore fans of this show had enough popularity and enough craze about them that they shut down McDonald's restaurants across the country off of a rumor of a sauce coming back that was mentioned in an episode. I doubt that this show could muster anywhere near that amount of energy here in 2025. So let's go through some of the reasons why the show lost so much popularity. So my first thought was about the exit of Justin Roiland. Was him leaving the show such a big deal to the fan base that the show could never recover? I think I'm on record saying this before, but it still holds true to me. The voice actors that they replaced Justin Roiland with are doing a fine job. If you're really into the episode and really paying attention to what's going on, it's hard to notice that Rick isn't exactly season 1, season 2 Rick, or Morty isn't exactly season 3, season 4 Morty. Like, it's just slight differences. And if the episode is good, then it won't really matter. So for me, that's not really a good enough reason. I wonder, has the writer's room changed any? I know when Justin Roiland left and all that stuff was going on with him, I didn't hear anything about writers being changed out. And I know for a fact that Dan Harmon stayed on throughout season 7. And I thought season 8 and all the, subsequent seasons, that he would be involved with, the head of the writer's room and making sure things flowed the same way they flowed before. So I can't necessarily say that's the problem. Still related to Justin Roiland, I know back in 2023, all his domestic violence and weirdo charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. I know a lot of people see that as an exoneration. It is not. And maybe those people wanted him to come back to the show after being cleared of the charges, but he didn't come back, and maybe those frantic fans dipped because he dipped. I know that Solar Opposites was the other Justin Roiland property. And I know that after Justin Roiland exited and they made a change from Justin Roiland's voice to Dan Stevens' voice, I know that Hulu stopped promoting that show nearly as heavily as they did previously. So, I think that they were trying to hide it personally. But maybe that's the case where Cartoon Network and those owners, Turner, they don't necessarily push the show as hard as they used to. That's a possibility, but I can't say that it's a definite. Some might say it's unrelated to Justin Roiland and his exit from the show. Some people might say it's just the long production times between seasons and people are just growing out of the style of comedy that they present. I actually feel like that's not true at all either. Just because I look at a show like Stranger Things that has notoriously long production times and huge gaps between seasons, season 4 had a 3-year gap between season 3 and season 4. And season 4 had its highest levels of viewership according to Netflix. And they are anticipating season 5 having equal or higher amounts of viewership, with it being the series finale. And then they're going off into spinoffs and things like that. And so if that show can retain its audience after only doing 4 seasons in close to 10 years, I would imagine that Rick and Morty can retain their audience as well. So after listing all those reasons, I still don't know what to think. Do you know what to think as to why Rick and Morty has fallen off so hard when it comes to its cultural relevance? Let me know in the comment section if you choose to do so. I thank you so much if you've watched this far, and that's all we got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.